I turned 18 3 days before that night, expecting nothing, no cake, no gift, not even a happy birthday. That had been normal in our house, but I didn't expect this. We were at dinner. Derek, my older brother, was bragging about his internship at some law firm Dad pulled strings to get him into. Monica, my sister, chimed in about the influencer deal she landed for free products. My mom, Elaine, beamed at them like they'd invented oxygen. I sat there silent, eating the dry chicken they gave me, when I said softly, "I got accepted into community college. I was thinking of applying for financial aid." The silence was immediate. Then came Dad's laugh, low and cruel. "Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video." "Financial aid? What, so taxpayers can waste money on a failure like you?" Thomas spat, slamming his fork down. Monica smirked, leaning back in her chair. "Riley, sweetie, community college isn't real college. You'd just embarrass yourself. Some people aren't built for more than folding shirts at minimum wage." I swallowed hard. I just wanted to try—" Elaine cut me off sharply, her wine glass raised like a trophy. "Try? We've tried with you for 18 years, and you've given us nothing. No talent, no ambition, no beauty. Just dead weight." Derek chuckled without looking up from his phone. "Mom, maybe she can start a GoFundMe for losers." The laughter erupted around me like fire, but I wasn't laughing. When I whispered, "I thought I was family," Dad slammed his fist on the table so hard the plates rattled. "Family? You are not family. You're a mistake we've been housing out of pity. Guess what, kid? That pity expires tonight. Get out." Elaine didn't even blink. "Pack your trash. You're dead to us." I thought it was a joke until Monica slid my half-filled plate away and said, "Leave now, Riley. You're ruining the vibe." I remember standing there, my heart in my throat, as Thomas handed me a garbage bag. "A garbage bag. For your stuff," he said coldly, "because that's all it's worth." I walked out of that house barefoot, clutching a bag that held 3 t-shirts and a cracked phone. The summer air felt heavy, thick with humiliation. For weeks I slept wherever I could, a friend's couch, a cheap hostel, sometimes a bench at the bus station. But every sleepless night hardened me. Every sneer replayed in my head carved something sharper inside me. Then one night, I overheard Monica at a coffee shop while she live-streamed. "Our parents are geniuses, and honestly, Derek's app launch is going to be massive. Dad's funding the whole thing, and once we're rich, people like Riley are going to wish they treated us better." That was the moment something clicked. They didn't just want me gone, they wanted me erased, forgotten, beneath them forever. But if there was one thing I learned out on my own, it was this. Even golden people bleed when you hit them where it hurts most. I decided right there I wasn't just going to survive. I was going to make them choke on the pedestal they built for themselves. And I wouldn't need screaming or blood to do it, just patience, precision, and the one thing they underestimated most about me. I knew every weakness they had, every secret they thought I was too useless to notice. I smiled for the first time in weeks. If they thought I was dead to them, fine. Let them learn what it's like when the dead don't stay buried. The first 3 weeks after being kicked out, I barely scraped by. I slept on a friend's couch until her landlord complained. I washed dishes at a diner for cash under the table. I skipped meals to afford bus fare. But those nights on the cracked vinyl couch at the back of that greasy diner gave me clarity. Between the smell of burnt coffee and fryer oil, I started hearing their voices in my head again. Useless. Dead weight. Dead to us. I realized something. My parents, Thomas and Elaine, and my siblings, Derek and Monica, thrived on control. They didn't just want success. They wanted everyone to believe they were perfect. The polished family, the empire builders, the golden kids. That was their weakness. Image. And I was going to make them burn under the weight of their own lies. I started working double shifts at the diner and saving every dollar. Not to survive, not just yet. I had something else brewing. I kept tabs on them quietly. Thomas's company, Davenport Solutions, had just announced a massive partnership deal for Derek's flashy new app launch. Monica, meanwhile, was sinking deep into fake influencer life, taking deposits from small brands and never posting, flashing luxury clothes she rented but didn't own. I knew their lives were built on hollow scaffolding. All I had to do was kick one beam out and the whole thing would crumble. My first move was small, invisible. I created a fake account and started messaging Monica's sponsors, the small skincare and boutique companies she conned. Posing as a curious buyer, I asked if their contracts had been fulfilled. Most said no. All I did was plant a seed. You should probably look into where your money went. A lot of people are complaining. Within 2 weeks, Monica's name was spreading in private brand forums as a scammer. I didn't stop there. Next came Derek. His app depended on a key security certification, something I knew, because growing up, I'd spent years quietly sitting in Dad's office while they whispered business plans, assuming I was too dumb to understand. But I remembered every word. I tipped off a small tech blogger anonymously. You should investigate how Davenport Solutions is bypassing data privacy laws for Derek Davenport's app. Start with the certification files. It took one article. One. Suddenly, the investors who'd promised millions for the launch started backing away, demanding audits Derek couldn't pass. Meanwhile, I waited for the perfect storm. Dad's investor gala. I didn't plan some movie-style exposé. No screens, no videos. I didn't need theatrics. My weapon was simpler. I invited someone they thought they destroyed years ago. Callie Harper, a former project manager Dad and Derek had humiliated and fired publicly, costing her career. She came dressed like power itself. They didn't even recognize her at first. I watched from a quiet corner as she charmed their investors, casually sharing concerns about mismanagement, fraud, and unpaid debts, each one true, each one traced right back to them. The whispers spread like wildfire. You could see it on their faces when the sponsors they worshipped started walking out before dinner was even served. Thomas barked at Derek, Derek yelled at Monica, Elaine screamed at them all, and their golden family fractured right there in the middle of their crowning moment. But I wasn't done. Not yet. I had one more card to play, the one they'd never see coming. And when I dropped it, they wouldn't just lose money or status. They'd lose the one thing they valued most, the respect of the very people they thought they ruled. I arrived at the gala early the night of the final strike. The building glittered like something ripped out of a dream glass walls, chandeliers spilling light across white marble, and waiters gliding past in crisp black uniforms. Davenport Solutions Investor Appreciation Gala was their pride, their annual stage to prove to the world how untouchable the Davenport family was. But tonight, I was going to burn their kingdom to the ground. I slipped through the crowd like I belonged there, the champagne flute in my hand, nothing more than camouflage. My palms were sweaty, but inside, I was ice. I had spent 6 months collecting everything: Monica's scam contracts, Derek's fraudulent investor pitches, Dad's offshore accounts, and Mom's texts where she called me garbage and a parasite we should have left at birth. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to let their own words and their own sins destroy them. The first hit came quietly. I watched Monica preen under the spotlight, surrounded by wannabe influencers and brand reps. I waited until she slipped into the ladies' room, her phone perched on the marble counter as she reapplied lipstick. With a small device in my pocket, I triggered the scheduled posts I'd prepared from her hacked account, a cascade of screenshots from every brand she scammed, every contract she broke, every unpaid invoice she ignored. By the time she came out, her face glowing under the chandeliers, the crowd around her had shifted. Phones were lighting up. People were whispering. A brand rep she owed thousands grabbed her wrist. "So you think you can steal from us and still walk into this room?" Monica blinked, frozen, then turned pale as camera flashes went off. Someone recorded her meltdown as security dragged her into a back hallway. First domino down. Then came Derek. He stood near Dad's table, chest puffed out like a rooster, bragging about his innovative app to a cluster of men in sleek suits. I stepped into their circle casually, smiling like an innocent bystander. "That's funny," I said lightly, swirling my champagne. "I read an article this morning saying your app failed its security certification because of, what was it? Data privacy violations?" The investors froze. One of them, a graying man with cold, sharp eyes, frowned and pulled out his phone. 2 others followed. Within minutes, Derek's phone started buzzing, then ringing non-stop. I leaned in close, my voice low enough for only him to hear. "Maybe you should tell them about the fake beta testers too. You know, the bots you paid for to inflate your downloads." His face drained of color. "How do you know about that?" he hissed, grabbing my arm. I smiled sweetly and slipped away, leaving him there as the suits closed in, faces darkening with every word they read on their screens. Second domino down. But I saved the nuclear strike for last. Dad strutted onto the stage, Elaine beside him like a queen on display, ready to deliver his yearly legacy speech. "At Davenport Solutions," he began, booming with authority, "we believe in honor, integrity, and family." That's when the ballroom doors opened and Callie Harper walked in. The woman they'd humiliated years ago, the one they'd ruined and mocked until she left town. Only now, she wasn't some timid project manager. She was the newly appointed CEO of their biggest competitor and the sponsor of tonight's largest investors. The crowd erupted in whispers as Callie strode confidently to the front, shaking hands with the same investors my parents depended on. "You look familiar," Mom stammered, trying to fake a smile. Callie leaned in close enough for only the front row to hear, though half the room caught it anyway. "Don't worry, Elaine, everyone here will remember me by the time this night ends." The investors didn't leave quietly this time. They walked out in droves right in the middle of Dad's speech. Sponsors followed. Reporters hounded my parents for statements, flashing cameras into their pale, stunned faces. And then, just to twist the knife, I stepped forward. I dropped a thick folder onto the table at the center of the room. Inside were tax fraud letters, offshore banking documents, and Mom's own texts mocking my existence. "You called me garbage," I said calmly, my voice slicing through the chaos. "But tonight, everyone sees who the real trash is." The microphone on stage was still live. My words echoed across the ballroom. Elaine lunged for the folder, but it was too late. Dozens of phones had already captured the documents. Within 48 hours, Davenport Solutions' biggest investors backed out. Monica's influencer deals were canceled overnight. Derek's app was pulled from every platform pending an investigation. 2. Tax authorities announced a full-scale audit. The video of Mom's shrieking at investors went viral under the hashtag #GarbageRoyalty. The perfect Davenport empire collapsed in real time. The same night, I moved into my small studio, the one I'd been paying for quietly while planning all this. No tears, no apologies. I didn't burn their house. I burned their world. And for the first time since they threw me out, I slept peacefully, knowing I didn't just get revenge, I reclaimed my life. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.